Gun. Hey everybody, you ready to go spider rigging? Hey YouTube, it's Panfish Guy, and we're back with part 2 of Spider Rigging 101. We're going to discuss theory today and dispel a few myths and misconceptions about spider rigging along the way. So we talked a little about the definition of spider rigging in the last video, and I probably gave a rather vague definition of what spider rigging is, and honestly, it's not in the dictionary, or it ain't in the dictionary. But I do want to get into how it works and what conditions are favorable for spider rigging today. Spider rigging can be thought of as a modified version of vertical jigging. You use long poles to present bait vertically in front of the boat, which is typically minnows but can include jigs, roadrunners, etc. depending on conditions. The only difference in the presentation from vertical jigging is that the boat is actually moving. With a multiple pole setup, you can cover a lot of water with this presentation rather than sitting on top of a specific piece of cover. With an 8-pole setup, you're pushing a lot of bait in an arc in about a 20 to 25 foot radius around your boat. As you're moving your boat through stumps, logs, creek channels, grass lines, whatever kind of cover you're fishing, and putting that bait in the faces of hopefully hungry crappie, you're picking off a fish here and there. I had my kindergartner draw up a sketch of what it would look like on the whiteboard here. Let's take a look. This is good stuff here, folks. So, anyway, I hope you can get a whole picture of that probably self. You got your happy little fisherman up here, and he's just kind of rolling down the lake, chewing tobacco and sipping on gin and juice, and he's about to catch him some slabs. And by the way, I don't have a kindergartner. Spider rigging can be an effective method of fishing year-round. A lot of people just think of it as it's a good pre-spawn method, and then after that you go fish the brush and what have you. And yeah, it's probably an effective strategy, but really you can catch fish year-round spider rigging. I mentioned pre-spawn, so I've been to Table Rock Lake, and early March I go down to a little place called Cricket Creek, and I'll show it to you on a map here. A little bitty skinny creek there. It's got standing timber in it, about 20 to 40 foot of water. I troll through there about 8 to 10 feet deep with minnows, and bam, 2 hours I've got a limit of fish, and I've caught some real dandy fish down there. Now that we got that out of the way, let's have a little fun and debunk some common misconceptions and myths about spider rigging. These are common things that you see like in say some of the crappie forums on Facebook and what have you, and sometimes I roll my eyes, sometimes I laugh, but we're just going to have a little fun with this. Spider rigging hurts the fishery.
Wait, you mean you get to keep more fish when you're spider rigging? Well, count me in.
Spider rigging is not fair to the fish.
Seriously?
It doesn't take any skill to spider rig.
Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't call it a skill so much as knowledge and patience. But really, anyone who says some BS like that obviously hasn't tried it. If you ever watch any of the pro tournaments, the predominant method of fishing in those pro tournaments is, guess what? Spider rigging. And unless it's a one-pole tournament, of course. But there's guys like Steve Coleman, Ronnie Capps. They're legends, and they're legends for a reason. Real fishermen only do single stick jigging. Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah, you don't know how to fish if you don't single stick jig.
Reckon they're not coordinated enough to use more than one pole at a time.
Spider rigging is for people who don't really know how to fish. And then he said I didn't know how to fish. Spider rigging is illegal in my state. A lot of people get the impression that if you're not using 8 rods to fish with, you're not truly spider rigging. And I guess it has something to do with, 8 legs on a spider, and if you're not using 8 poles, then it's not truly spider rigging. But what if that spider were an amputee? Question of the day. But spider rigging is more of a concept about presentation of bait to the fish versus, you got to have X amount of poles on the boat for it to be considered spider rigging. So, states like Illinois, where I live, we have, in general, the Illinois statute says you can use no more than 3 poles at a time. Many lakes have a site-specific 2-pole limit. So who's to say you can't take those 2 poles that you're limited to, put them up on a rack, and troll down the lake and catch fish with them? Because I sure don't see anything in the statutes that say you can't put them on a rack and fish with them. So that's exactly what I do here in Illinois. So I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I had a little fun with it. I love shooting down the naysayers and the haters when it comes to spider rigging. Even more so, I love sharing information about spider rigging with folks like you who are maybe considering it or just learning. And you could use some unsponsored 411 regarding spider rigging. Okay, that's going to be a wrap for part 2. Next time we're going to get into equipment, riggings, options. Might be a little longer video, don't know yet. So I hope you're enjoying the series. If you have a question or a comment, make sure you leave it below. I'll make sure to get back to you. And please consider subscribing to the channel.
Please remember to check out our friends at my724outdoors.com on the web and Facebook. And if you get a chance, check out my Facebook and Instagram pages. If you like my videos, please like, share, and of course subscribe.
Hey, knock it off.